Favorite roofing company. Investigate TV is here.
I feel like it's a form of voter suppression.
Digging deep into the topics that matter to you.
You almost seem speechless.
Watch Investigate TV.
It's the perfect time to update your living space with a new sofa and love seat set from Davis Appliance and Furniture. Or update your indoor appliances with no credit needed financing. For the brands you trust at the lowest prices in town, visit us at Davis Appliance and Furniture.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, first at 5.
A plane traveling from Atlanta to Charlotte makes an emergency landing. We'll break down what happened and the hundreds of other flights impacted.
But first, just a few hours ago, a multi-agency search for a father ends after his tractor was found overturned in a pond. That's according to the Aiken County Sheriff's Office.
This all happening off of Old Jackson Highway near Beach Island. News 12's Hallie Turner joins us live not far from where that search ended. And Hallie, this is not the ending anyone wanted to see.
No, officials arrived on scene early this afternoon, and since about 1:45, other than a steady flow of cars coming on and off the property, it's been pretty quiet. But just beyond those railroad tracks that are just behind these trees, it's a different story. After all afternoon, countless tow trucks, law enforcement vehicles, a camouflage boat, pavement trucks, personal vehicles, and heavy machinery could be seen coming from the property. From the road, you can't see the lake where the tractor was found. This is drone video of that lake. We're not sure at this point how long the man and the tractor were in the water, but what we do know is a father was found after his son came to do a welfare checkup on him today. And that's when the Aiken County Sheriff's Office says the son found a tractor turned over in a pond and later recovered the body. The coroner's office says the body will be autopsied tomorrow in Newberry, and they won't release a name until that family is identified.
Some sad news out there, Hallie. Thanks for that. We'll continue to follow this. But first, we will take a look outside and check in with First Alert meteorologist Chris Still.
That's right. It is a nice looking Wednesday afternoon. There's a live look from our North Augusta camera this afternoon, and plenty of sunshine, nothing in the way of rain. Temperatures about where you would expect them to be on the 29th day of June, 90 degrees. Dew point temperature pretty low, so the humidity is not adding insult to injury. It actually feels like the actual temperature of 90 degrees. 91 right now, sunny skies in Aiken, 90 for Barnwell and Allendale. Even some upper 80s scattered on the map for Washington. You're at 87 and 88 in Thompson. Radar network is dry out there on this Wednesday afternoon. It'll stay that way headed into your Wednesday evening, more than likely through your Thursday as well. Then as we go back into the weekend, we'll have those rain chances on the increase. Here it is for the next 12 hours through 8 o'clock tonight. We're in the middle 80s, and then once the sun goes down, those temperatures cool off pretty nicely overnight into the upper 60s. High temperatures will be the big deal for the next few days. 97 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that could feel like about 106 as we head into the weekend.
And now, First Alert traffic.
And it is time for our First Alert first check of traffic this afternoon, and looking pretty good, kind of quiet out there. We'll be talking about temperatures in the 80s throughout the evening. Kind of a hazy look out there on the roads, but no thunderstorms, so no weather-related delays. Things looking good on I-20 through Grovetown and through Augusta as well into South Carolina. We'll have another check on your 4th of July weekend forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Chris. A scary situation out of Charlotte after a plane managed to land without its nose gear. The emergency landing happened at around 8:30 this morning at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. A commercial airline pilot from the area describing this as an extremely rare situation. This landing has impacted thousands so far today. We've seen more than 200 delayed flights in and out of Charlotte. Now you're looking at a map now courtesy of FlightAware showing you the flight's path as it traveled from Atlanta to Charlotte. You can see it circled the airport several times before landing. Gary Gibbs was going to Charlotte today on business. He describes the flight as scary, but he's thankful that everyone is safe.
We came to a full stop and there was some smoke in the cabin, so that was a little concerning. But the flight attendants did well. The pilot came on with his instructions that we would be exiting, and so we all exited safely. I'm looking at the room here. I haven't seen anyone with injuries. Obviously, it was a little stressful situation.
And once again, there are no reported injuries from this incident today.
Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger speaking to federal prosecutors today on the investigation into former President Donald Trump and his allies over their alleged plan to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Last night, Secretary Raffensperger sat down to speak on election interference. Now, he is calling for tougher penalties on voting machine tampering and stronger election crime sentences.
The federal government has already, designated election infrastructure as critical national infrastructure. And if it's critical national infrastructure, then there should be severe penalties for any bad actors. And that's why a 10-year prison term is appropriate.
Raffensperger is calling on state lawmakers to increase the penalties during the next session to make sure Georgia voters are confident in the integrity of the 2024 elections.
The Bell Auditorium has shut its doors until at least May of next year. It's hosted both major and local acts for the last 80 years here in Augusta. The Augusta Entertainment Complex says big improvements are coming in an $18 million renovation project. Business will go on as usual at the James Brown Arena. Tomorrow, Augusta commissioners will vote to put an option for a new JBA on the ballot in November. Well, First Lady Jill Biden will be in South Carolina this week visiting new Marines and their families. She'll be there for a boot camp graduation at Parris Island. The First Lady will also deliver remarks at the ceremony. This will be the first time Dr. Biden will be back in the Palmetto State since August of last year.
Take a look at this, a Rising McDuffie kindergarten summer program taking a trip to the county library to learn about the magic of reading. Students enjoyed Chris Carnock's magician and ventriloquist show, where instead of saying abracadabra, the children were asked to recite the magic words, "I love to read," while he performed tricks.
Well, some young people in South Carolina could get a second chance. What a new law aims to do to make that happen. Chris?
It is a typically hot June afternoon, but we're really going to heat up headed into the 4th of July holiday. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
All new tonight on News 12 at 6, we'll tell you how the Red Cross is bringing the community together and stepping up to help those impacted by the flood.
Diamond Ruben Toyota.
Firefighters in Scottsdale, Arizona, fighting a massive 2,500-acre fire. The Diamond Fire broke out last night, and several agencies are still battling the flames as we speak.
You can see the scene from last night, the fire causing more than 1,000 people to evacuate the area. Areas like this and elsewhere in the West also preparing for possible fires started by fireworks over the holiday weekend.
It's going to be a big talker with 4th of July coming up. We've been so hot outside, Chris.
Yeah, it has been very hot the past couple of days. It's only going to get hotter as we head into the 4th of July holiday. And on the subject of fire, we're actually seeing some smoke on our Beach Island camera as we look off from South Carolina into Georgia. This is from those Canadian wildfires in central and northern Canada. Jet stream transporting that all the way down here into the southeast. Hot weather has been a big deal early on this week. We haven't had a whole lot of it this spring, now early summer. Winds are from the northeast at 6, and it's going to get hotter and hotter as we head into the weekend. Here's a look at that smoke on our vertically integrated smoke product on our radar. Those orange colors there where that smoke concentration is on the high side, and that dips all the way here into the CSRA and kind of curves over there into North Carolina. So the North Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia mountains have been very smoky today. That stretches up into Chicago, down into St. Louis as well. No rain out there, though. It's a pretty quiet day, even though it is a little bit hot out there. Lots of sunshine, so no rain on our First Alert radar network. And we'll stay dry out there for the rest of this evening and throughout your day Thursday. Then we'll get to more of a typical summer pattern as we head into the 4th of July holiday. 91 right now in Gibson, plenty of sunshine in Waynesboro. You're at 91, a hot but not terribly hot day in Millen, and the humidity's not too bad either. So the heat index value's pretty much identical to what the temperature is, but that's going to change as we head into your Thursday, and especially as we head into the weekend. It will be a nice day tomorrow to head out to the pool if you can. Maybe you have the day off. 92 degrees at 1 o'clock, 95 by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But like today, there should not be any thunderstorms to worry about. A light wind from the east for the most part at about 1 up to about 4 miles per hour. At the lake, should be a nice day to take the boat out, do a little fishing. A light east wind at 1 to 4. The water very warm, of course, at 81. The high temperature, the air temperature, up to about 96, so definitely heating up. The reason we're going to be heating up is this ridge of high pressure in the jet stream. We call it a ridge of high pressure because of the way the arrows look there on the map, kind of like a mountain ridge. We call this a trough of low pressure, and when the jet stream dips to the south, our temperatures dip to the south. Basically, it separates the warm tropical air from the cooler polar air, so anytime that jet stream goes up to the north, our temperatures head to the north as well. And this high pressure now causing record warm, hot weather across the plain states will be migrating to the east. I don't think we'll be talking about record high temperatures, but we'll certainly be about 5 degrees above average or so headed into the weekend. Take things into Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures may moderate a couple of degrees, but for the most part, above average temperatures are in the forecast for each of the next 7 days. Out there tonight, really not too bad. The average low is 70 degrees, but with that dry air mass in place in the short term, it'll cool off nicely with a low tonight in Millen around 68. For you Thursday, mostly sunny, hot and humid. We're not going to have any rain out there tomorrow afternoon. 95 the high in Evans, 95 in Thompson. The feels like temperatures up around 100 degrees tomorrow. As we head into the weekend, it gets hotter and hotter. 97 on Friday, very slight chance of a late day thunderstorm. Saturday, Sunday, your typical summer thunderstorms will be out there each afternoon and evening. High temperatures around 97, maybe 98 or 99 degrees. Factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like about 106 Saturday and Sunday, and staying pretty hot all the way through the holiday on Tuesday.
All right, thanks for that, Chris. A new change to state law could have a huge impact on some South Carolinians as they apply for jobs and find a place to live.
Our State House reporter Mary Green has the details.
This change expands an existing part of South Carolina law that aims to give people a second chance after they were convicted of certain nonviolent crimes when they were young.
Let's give them the carrot to change their lives. Let's say you can be whatever you want to be if you stay out of trouble. And we need to do more of that.
Richland County Representative Seth Rose was the lead sponsor of a new bipartisan law that carves out driving under suspension and disturbing schools convictions from the offenses that could prevent someone from expungement under the Youthful Offenders Act. That act allows people convicted of certain nonviolent misdemeanors and low-level felonies in South Carolina, shoplifting, for example, to apply for those offenses to be expunged from their records. To be eligible, they have to be younger than 25 when convicted, and they can't reoffend within 5 years of completing their sentence. This new law now allows people to be eligible for expungement even if they were convicted of disturbing schools or driving under suspension before that time period was up. For example, if they failed to pay a speeding ticket and then drove with a suspended license.
Some young people are simply going through it and they're going to make more mistakes on the way out, but that doesn't mean they don't deserve a second chance and an opportunity to put their past behind them.
Governor Henry McMaster actually vetoed this bill when it got to his desk, saying that while he believes in grace and reducing recidivism through employment, he also believes that employers should be able to consider someone's full criminal history when making hiring decisions. But the General Assembly voted overwhelmingly to override that veto and put this new law into effect. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
The new law applies retroactively to convictions before the change went into effect earlier this month.
Well, stop trains are delaying ambulances and fire trucks and kids getting to school. Coming up next, a nationwide call for change.
First Alert.
Get the money that you deserve.
Across across the country, trains move many of the goods that we need, but when there's heavy rail traffic or crew switching delays, those cars may have to stop, blocking critical intersections and putting many people at risk as well.
National investigative reporter Josie Sturman discovered lawmakers and even the men and women who operate trains are taking action to stop dangerous blocked crossings.
Children playfully cross the tracks in Hammond, Indiana, looking carefree with summer vacation just days away. It's a stark contrast to months ago when stalled trains blocked their path to and from school, forcing kids to make an unthinkable choice: be late to class or crawl under or through train cars to get there.
Never seen it with my own eyes, but we knew that was happening.
Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott reacting to video captured as part of an Investigate TV ProPublica investigation, putting the city he leads at the center of a national conversation about blocked crossings.
I think everybody's paying attention, and I know what the difference is. I've been singing from this set of tunes for 20 years, and finally we're getting traction.
Now a solution might finally come. It started with a call from Norfolk Southern, the rail company that routinely blocks Hammond's crossings. After seeing this footage of kids climbing under trains, McDermott says the company's CEO picked up the phone to talk.
He was horrified, just like the rest of us, and he wanted to help solve the problem.
The company, McDermott confirmed, put a curfew in place so trains stay off critical crossings during school hours. And there's a $5 million proposed pedestrian bridge in the works that McDermott says he's confident Norfolk Southern will pay for.
This action could save lives.
It will save lives, no doubt about it.
But this isn't just a problem in Indiana. There are lives at risk across the country, with neighborhoods cut off, first responders delayed, and children taking chances with stopped trains, all because of blocked crossings.
It's unbelievable. I think a lot of people aren't aware of this.
Senator Raphael Warnock taking action to make people aware, citing our reporting. The Georgia Democrats successfully introduced provisions to directly address blocked crossings in the Rail Safety Act that's moving through Congress.
This is more than an inconvenience. This is dangerous.
Warnock's amendments put crossings near schools or on school bus routes at the top of the list for grant funding that's designed to eliminate dangerous crossings, making sure they get special attention. And they also create a process that allows people to directly communicate blocked crossings to rail carriers.
If these large railway corporations are able to act with impunity and no penalties, no accountability, this is what you get. We have to hold them accountable.
This is not something that should be happening in the United States of America.
Jared Cassidy is the chief of safety for SMART, the union that represents train conductors and engineers, which reached out saying it wanted to highlight our reporting in nationwide training and awareness campaigns about the dangers of blocked crossings.
If there is one thing that can fix it, I firmly believe this video speaks to that.
The Association of American Railroads, which reps rail companies, says blocked crossings aren't good for communities or their customers, and that safety is always their top priority. But Hammond's mayor says it hasn't always felt that way. The image of the little girl in the red coat crawling underneath the train, he says it changed everything.
Yeah, I mean, for 20 years we've been banging our head against the wall, and we knew that these conditions existed, and we knew it wasn't fair, and we knew our response times were elevated. Didn't matter. Now, with all the attention that's being focused on it now, suddenly it does matter.
Now, if approved, the federal rail legislation that's proposed would also direct specific research into blocked crossings, looking for causes, impacts, and solutions that will be presented to Congress.
Breaking news just into our newsroom. 2 Saluda County deputies are hospitalized after being exposed to fentanyl. This happened, we're told, today when the deputies responded to reports of a reckless driver. Now, during the arrest, a deputy was exposed to it and began feeling sick. We're told she was able to pull over and give herself Narcan. And while that deputy was getting medical aid, another deputy was exposed.
Yeah, and both of these deputies, thankfully, are expected to be okay. Saluda Sheriff Price saying that he is proud of his officers and the dangers that they face every day will continue to grow. And we're going to continue following this story and bring you any updates both here on air and also online at wrdw.com. Chris?
The hottest weather of the year so far is on the way for the 4th of July holiday. Looks like high temperatures will be in the upper 90s. Could feel like about 106 headed into the weekend, but will there be any rain to worry about for your 4th of July celebrations? We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
There's a FOMO model still in four-wheel drive available.
A family who lost everything feeling a little bit better this evening after winning the lottery. The Gordys lost their home in Iowa several years ago from a tornado and had to put the construction on hold because of rising costs.
Yeah, but you see that big smile and that big check. They're now the latest winners of Iowa's Powerball lottery. They plan to use their $2 million in prize money to, of course, finish building their home and add things like a jacuzzi and a walk-in closet.
Yeah, I'm sure that budget for their new home got just a little bit bigger with all those zeros on that check.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
A $2 million home? Yeah, you can really stretch that check pretty far. Good for them. Good for them, Chris.
Yeah, sounds like they deserve it. Let's take a look at our radar network. No rain out there on this Wednesday afternoon. We're not gonna have any out there for the evening. We'll have clear skies overnight, and for the short term, the air mass is pretty dry, and that means it'll cool off pretty nicely into the 60s most spots by Thursday morning. 67 for a wake-up temperature in Waynesboro, 67 in Johnson. For your dog walk forecast on Thursday, Molly probably pretty happy about the weather in the morning, but those hot sidewalks could be a factor in the afternoon. 92 at 1 o'clock, plenty of sunshine, no rain again tomorrow as well. Hey, very quick look at your 7-day forecast showing those upper 90s with a feels like temperature near 106 for the weekend.
All right, thanks, Chris. Stick with us. We have much more news and weather coming up after a short break as News 12 Live at 5 continues.